All right. So come to your mat. We're gonna start seated today. You can sit up on a blanket. Keep your strap nearby. You may even want to have a block or even a bolster or pillow. Keep it nearby. We're gonna work on some back bends today. Some twists. Keeping the heart open. And we've been working on the hips a lot lately. We'll get the hips in there, don't worry. But we're going to work a little bit more on the back bends and chest openers and all that other good stuff. So let's start in our seat. Sit up nice and tall. You can even take your hands on your knees. And then take the shoulders back and down. So float the shoulders back and down. Take the crown of the head up. So you're going to even, as you pull on your knees, you can feel your chest start to open there. You're going to kind of drawing the shoulder blades toward each other. You can close your eyes and relax your jaw. Soften the skin on your face. Relax your temples. Feel the shoulders draw up towards your ears, then back and down. And we're still feeling that kind of pulling of the shoulder blades toward each other. Start to watch your breath as it comes in and out. Big breath in through the nose. Watch the chest rise, the belly fill. And then as you exhale, draw your navel in. So even feel the abdominals start to engage. And then watch the breath as it travels back up and out through the nose. Let's do that again. Breath in. Fill the chest, fill the belly. And as you breathe out, draw the navel in and let the breath pass up and over the vocal cords and out through the nostrils. Now let's take a big, long breath into the count of 4. Hold it here at the top for 4. Gently exhale for 4. Now hold it here at the bottom. See if you can kind of hold that navel in. And let's do that again. Breath in for 4. Hold it. Gently release. Hold it here. And one more time, inhale. Hold it. Gently exhale. Hold it down at the bottom. See if you can really engage the abdominals. And then let your breath just go naturally. All right, so just stay here. We'll just start with our neck. So take your chin into your chest, take your shoulder blades toward the floor. And even here, you can have your hands on your knees and you're still pulling on your knees. Draw the shoulder blades down and away. Take the chin into your chest. Maybe you can even place your hands onto your head to deepen that stretch in the back of the neck. And then release. Start to take your chin up toward the sky. Take your collarbones toward the floor. If you want, you can even take your hands lightly on your collarbones and just gently draw the skin down towards your navel. Just feeling a little deeper stretch in the neck. And then gently bring your chin back to parallel to the floor. Now let's look over our right shoulder. Keep the shoulder blades floating back and down. Just go where you can go here. Don't go too far so that you're gonna take the neck and do too deep of a twist. We really just wanna go where we can go. We're opening up the neck in all directions. Then we're just gonna gently bring the chin back and then over to the left. You can just go where you can go. One side might be a little more flexible than the other. You might just notice some tightness in one side. Just notice it though. Don't judge. Don't try to correct it. Just go where your neck is allowing you to go. And then bring your chin back to center. Now let's take our right ear to our right shoulder. We're going to take our head toward the front of our mat until our left ear and left shoulder meet. And then we're going to go back in the opposite direction. So just go from one shoulder to the other at your own pace. And notice how this feels. Again, just do what you can do here. Don't force anything. And then the next time an ear and a shoulder meet, stay there. And then we're going to do the same thing going backwards. So take your head toward the back of your mat. This you might need to do a little slower, right? You might want to take your time on this one because it's probably a little tighter. There's probably some crunching noises. And that's normal. Just let your head hang if you find a particularly tight spot. And then move on. If you find another one, just let your head hang there. Breathe into it for a breath or two. And then move on. Just kind of go where you need to go here. Getting out all the tension and tightness that we carry here. And then the next time an ear and a shoulder meet, just stay right there. Carefully bring your head up. We're going to go back a little deeper into the neck. So you can take your right ear back to your right shoulder and then walk your right hand over a little bit away from your leg. And we're going to reach the left arm out and then take it back and maybe down or just down and back. Just kind of play around with it until you find that stretch in your upper trapezius muscle. So you'll know when you get there. So you might want to move it around until you get that big stretch right in here. So it's usually kind of back, down. It might feel good. Now, if it feels really painful, you're probably gone too far. So maybe back it off, breathe into it, and then maybe you go a little bit deeper. But kind of ease into it. Don't force. I'm going to be gentle. And do things that are healthy and good for us. All right, let's take our right hand onto our right ear. And we're going to slowly bring the head up. And just sit here and notice the left from the right. So notice all the space that we're creating in our neck. All right, now let's carefully take the left ear to the left shoulder. Walk the left hand out. And again, we'll take the right arm out, maybe back, maybe down. Move it around until you find that nice big stretch. And just again, ease into it. If it's too painful, if this feels really uncomfortable, then back it off. Just go where you can go. But then, like I said, once you kind of breathe into it a couple times, then maybe you can go a little bit deeper. And let's take our left hand onto our left ear. Carefully, slowly bring your head up and sit up nice and tall. You can notice the right from the left. Just notice all that space. Okay, let's get our strap now. And we're gonna take the strap, and just depending on its length, you can fold it in half, depending on what you're using for a strap. These are pretty long. So I'm gonna fold mine, and then we're just gonna take it out in front. We've done this millions of times. So we're gonna take the strap out in front so our wrists are in line with our shoulders. We're just gonna pull to the right, pull to the left, shoulders back and down. Now carefully, just bring your arms up. So right now we're just going with the arms up and overhead. Take the shoulders down, away from your ears, and now take your back ribs towards your front ribs. So we're just opening up the chest a little bit more. Pull to the right, pull to the left. And just notice again where you can go with this. So you may not be able to get your arms in line with your ears. So that's okay, just stay a little bit more forward. Or you can even take your arms a little bit wider. And just hold it here. Pull to the right, pull to the left. And slowly bring your arms back down. And then just sit here for a breath. And kind of notice that. I mean, there's a little bit of fire in the arms. Just holding the arms overhead like that. For some of us, maybe not for everyone. All right, now we're gonna bring the arms back up. We're gonna take the arms wider, the hands wider, and we're gonna take the arms behind us. So now we're really opening up the chest. And then bring them back up and forward. And just go at your own pace, making circles. Rotating through the shoulder blades, the shoulders. Make sure you have enough length on your strap that you can get here. So if you feel like if your arm is bending as you're going backwards, take your arms wider, make your strap longer. And then you can add the figure 8. So we'll take the right hand behind, the left hand in front, right behind, left in front. And then the other direction, left behind, right in front. And let's do one more. Bring the strap back in front. And we'll just put it aside for right now. Okay. Now let's take our arms out to the sides. So stretch them out nice and long. And take your right elbow under your left. And then hold on to your shoulders. Crawl your fingertips in towards your spine and lift your elbows. And then you can stay right here or maybe bring your hands together. Press your elbows forward and up. Forward and up. Now take your low belly up towards your chin and feel the crown of your head rising toward the sky. So our spine stays nice and long. And then we even here take the back ribs toward the front ribs. Breathing nice and deep into the chest, into the shoulders. And then unwind, uncross. And sit here just for a breath. And again, notice how that feels. Other side, arms extend, reach out nice and long. This time we'll take the left under the right and we're gonna hold onto our shoulders. Crawl your fingers in towards your spine. And then maybe stay here or again, bring your palms together. Pressing up and forward. Shoulders back and down. Low belly draws up toward the chin. Crown of the head rises. Breathe. Breathing into your lungs. Through the nose. And then let's unwind. Uncross. Then you can take a shoulder shrug here. All right, let's switch our legs around. We've been here for a little bit. So switch the other foot forward. We're going to twist over to the right. So take your left hand onto your right knee, and your right hand's going to come right behind you toward your tailbone. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, now twist. Even here, we want to take the back ribs toward the front ribs. So our shoulder blades are pulling back and down. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And then exhale, twist. One more time. Inhale, grow your spine long. Exhale, twist. Now maybe you can look over your right shoulder. And don't worry if you can't, but just go where you can go. We did the neck opening, so you may have a little bit more range of motion in your neck. And then come on back to center. And we're gonna switch sides. So we'll twist over to the left. So the right hand will come on the left knee, left hand right behind your back, right by your tailbone. And as you press that left hand into the mat, that helps grow your spine long. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, exhale. So we're taking our right rib cage toward the left rib cage. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, twist again. Maybe you can look over your left shoulder. And then come on back. All right, let's make our way onto our hands and knees. Pad your knees with a blanket if you need to, if your mat's a little thinner or you're on a hardwood floor. We're going to take our knees wide, bring our toes together, and then sit back into child's pose. So you can also, if this is, you can also put a blanket between your thighs and your calves, and then reach your arms out in front. And let your forehead rest on the mat or on something. So if you need to, you can put a block or a pillow underneath your forehead. And then crawl your fingers out. Feel your spine grow long. Inhale and exhale. The more you press your fingertips into the mat, maybe you can take your tailbone a little closer towards your heels. And then take your back ribs towards your front ribs. Float the shoulder blades back. Now walk your hands over to the left. Go where you can go. Once you get as far as you're going to go, you can take your left hand on top of your right hand. And your head doesn't need to be on a support here. But feel that nice stretch through the right side of your body. Walk your hands back to center and then over to the right. It's the same thing. When you get over as far as you're going to go, you can just take your right hand onto your left, kind of anchor that arm down and feel that nice stretch through the left. And then walk your hands back. And come back to child's. Press your hands into your mat. Take your tailbone towards your heels. Feel your spine grow even longer. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your knees in under your hips. Now stay here. We're going to take our left hand and slide it underneath our chest. So we're going to come onto our left shoulder. Now you might, again, need a block or a pillow underneath your left shoulder or your ear. So kind of figure out what you need there. And then take the left ear onto the mat as well. Crawl the right hand up over your head. You're just going to press your fingertips into your mat and get that length. So nice twist here through the shoulders. If you'd like, you can take your right hand up and maybe take it over to the left hip to add a little bit more of a twist. Just go where you can go, or you can even just tense your fingers in front of your nose. Kind of do a little of both. You just feel what feels right for you. And then we'll slowly come back up onto our hands and knees. And we'll do that on the other side. So now we're going to slide the right arm underneath, coming onto our right shoulder, our right ear. And then check in here first. How does this feel? Make the adjustments. Maybe put your shoulder or your head on a blanket. And then maybe you can take your left hand up over your head. And press into your mat. Or you can add that half bind, taking your left hand over to your right hip. And just stay there. Stay in your breath. And then come back up onto your hands and knees. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, take your hips over your knees. We're going to take our tailbone toward our knees, push the floor away, look up at your belly button for cat pose. Take your tailbone toward the ceiling. Let your belly drop toward the mat. Now broaden across your collarbones. You can gaze down at your mat or maybe look up for cow. Let's go back to cat pose. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, cow pose, back bend. Broaden across your collarbones. Back ribs float toward the front ribs. And one more time, exhale to cat. And inhale to cow. And then come on back to neutral spine. Have a seat. We're going to just turn right over. Have a seat. Go lengthwise on your mat. Keep everything handy, your blocks, your blanket, your straps. And then we're going to lie down onto our backs. All right, so let's take our legs long to start. Reach your arms overhead. Now hook your thumbs together. Bring your feet together. Flex through your toes. So take your toes towards your shins. You press through your heels. And we're going to take an inhale. And as you exhale, press your feet away. Reach through your fingertips. Take your ribs, the back ribs towards your right ribs. So even here, we're lifting the heart. We're opening up through the chest. Inhale, let everything go. Switch your thumb grip. Breath in. Exhale, press through the heels. Really feel this side body stretch here. Lift the chest. Inhale, switch your thumb grip. Exhale, press and reach. Inhale, switch. Exhale, one more time. Press and reach. Big stretch here. And then bring your hands down by your side. All right, so we're going to do a full body twist or straight leg twist. All right, we've done this before. I don't do it that often, so I'll take you through nice and slow. We're going to take our right Achilles into our in between the left big toe and second toe. So you're going to dig it right in there. And take your right arm out to the right. We're going to take our left hand onto our right shoulder. Lift the chest. Take a breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to take our right toes over to the left. All right, so now we're going to take that left hand, we're going to draw the chest, kind of slide the left hand down your chest. You're drawing your chest toward the mat. So just stay here, just do what you can do. I know it feels a little weird. One more breath, really twisting through the thoracic spine. So we usually twist through the lumbar spine, right? So this is a way to kind of get that twist in the upper spine. One more breath. And then carefully just come back nice and slow, all right? Because I know it's a little weird. All right, I'm just gonna notice how that feels. All right, we're gonna do that on the other side. So left Achilles is gonna go in between the right big toe and second toe. Left arm will extend out. Right hand's gonna come onto your left shoulder. Let me check in here. Let me take a breath in. And as you exhale, take your left toes toward the right. You're gonna drag your right hand down across your chest over to the opposite to the right shoulder. And just kind of do what you can do here. This side, maybe feels a little different than the other. Breathe here. Just go where you can go. We're gonna do it again on each side, so you get another chance. One more breath. And then carefully bring your legs up, uncross, take a breath here. All right, I'll set up for the other side again. So we're gonna take the right Achilles into the left big and second toe. Right arm extends out, left hand on your right shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, right toes twist over to the left. Slide your left hand down towards your right shoulder. Right hand down towards your left shoulder. And that right hand, you actually can kind of tent your fingers and help control the twist. So the right hip pops up a lot here. And then carefully bring it back. And we'll switch sides one more time. Left Achilles in between the right and second big toe. And then the right hand goes on your left shoulder, left hand extends out. Inhale. Exhale, we twist over to the right. Slide the right hand down towards your left shoulder. Just gonna draw and help that twist up through the thoracic spine. Breathe here. So just kind of notice this. You'll notice that we don't usually do twists that affect us up here. All right, we're gonna come back up. And then uncross, come back into just a general kind of lying down with your legs extended. And notice how that all feels. Okay, so now we're going to do a twist through the lumbar spine. So we're going to hug the right knee up. Left leg extends out. I'm going to go let Molly out as soon as I get you into your twist. Inhale. Left hand onto your right knee. And then we're going to take the right knee over to the left. So that left leg's extended. So notice the difference here. Now we're twisting right through here, right? The right hand extends out. Inhale, lengthen through your left foot. And then exhale, go deep into the lumbar spine. I'll be right back. So on your inhale, you lengthen. On your exhale, you twist. All right, you can go. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, and twist. All right, one more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And then bring your knee up. And let's float that foot to the edge of our mat. All right, set up for the other side. Take the left knee up. We're going to take the right hand on the left knee. Left arm extends out. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to twist over to the right. Inhale, lengthen through your right leg. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. So a lot more range of motion, right, in our twist down here than we get up in the upper spine. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And then bring your knee up and let that foot glide to the edge of your mat. All right, now we're going to take the right knee up. We're going to clasp around the right knee. Flex both feet. And as you exhale, take your forehead to your right knee. Press away with your left leg. Tuck your chin into your chest. Now we're taking our spine into a forward bend. This is where we're actually bringing the front ribs toward the back ribs, right? We're rounding the back. And then we're going to lower down and release that leg to the edge of our mat. Other side, left knee is going to come up, flex both feet. Take your forehead towards your knee. Press away with your right leg. Take your right pinky toe up toward the ceiling. Tuck your chin into your chest. If this causes any pain in the neck, take your shoulders back down. And then release. Now let's take both knees up. Clasp around both shins. And if it is okay with your neck, take your forehead to your knees. So we're going to squeeze everything in here. Squeeze it all in. We're going to add some movement to this one. So hug it in here on your exhalation. And as you inhale, we're going to reach our arms overhead and let our feet float to the end of the mat. All right, so we're going to go with our breath this time. So exhale, hug everything in. Hug both knees in, take your forehead to your knees. Inhale, extend and reach. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, reach overhead. Let your feet float. 2 more times. Exhale, hug everything in. Inhale, release. And last time. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale with control. Let your feet glide and then place them down. And then bring your hands back onto your hips and just stay here for a breath. Now let's take both knees back up. And again, you can hug them in and bring them up towards your chest. And we're going to take our knees over toward the right shoulder. Kind of just over to where you kind of feel you're going to fall, but you're not really going to fall. And then back up to center. And then over to the left shoulder. And again, just to that place where you're feeling a little balance. And then bring them back. And then just go from side to side at your own pace. Massaging the entire back. Come on back to center. And then release your feet to the floor. And let's find our strap. So we'll take the strap, place it around the right heel, and the right leg will go up toward the sky. And then the left leg extends out. Left toes, pinky toes especially, point up toward the sky. Flex both feet. Lock your shoulders down. So take the back ribs toward the front ribs. We're lifting the chest. And we're breathing here. Now take your right thigh bone away from your chin. And then we take the belly button up toward our chin. You should feel this in the back of your leg, through the hamstring. So if you're not feeling it there, if your knee's bent, take your leg out farther so that the leg is straight and you're feeling this in the hamstrings. The more you flex through your foot, the more you're going to get into the hamstrings as well. Then pull down on your strap and press your heel into your strap. Right thigh bone presses away, chest stays lifted. One more breath. And we'll switch sides. So take the strap off, we'll bend the left knee, take the strap around the left heel. Take a hold of your strap, right hand on the right side, left on the left. You can always make loops around your hands to get a better grip if that feels right for you. Flex your feet. So the toes are drawing toward the shins. We're pressing through the heels. Lift your chest. So lock the shoulders down so the chest stays lifted. And then we take the left thigh bone away from our chin and the belly button toward our chin. Pull down on your strap. Really pull down hard. So you're feeling that compression, and then you're taking your heel into your strap. Keep the chest lifted. This should feel fairly good. I know we've all been doing these. I usually get the hip series in every week. And I think I've mentioned this before, but if you have active back pain and there's only one pose you have time for that you can do, this is the pose. All right, let's remove the strap. Take the leg long. We're going to switch sides again. Now this time we're going to take both ends of the strap into your left hand. Now we're going to take our right thumb into our right hip crease. We're going to push the right thigh away. So when we were isometrically taking that right thigh away from our chin, now we're actually pushing it away. Left leg stays long, chest stays lifted. Take a breath in here. And now we're going to take the right heel over in line with our left shoulder. We're still pushing that right thigh bone away. Our thumb is in the hip crease, so we're pushing it away. The left pinky toe is pointing up to the sky. And then we take the back ribs toward the front ribs. So we're still opening up the chest. So even here, we're getting that lift in the chest as we open the hips. You can stay here. If you want to take this a little bit deeper, you can start to take your right leg over to the right. To the left, to the left. So the right hip's going to pop up even more, and you can even take your right arm out to the right. So just go where you can go here. If it's too intense, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the leg, if this is too much, just keep your heel in line with your shoulder. Wherever you are, we're breathing. We're keeping that left leg active. I know if you're all the way over, your left foot's probably splaying over to the left. That's okay. Let's take one more breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your leg up. Bend the knee, remove your strap. Take that leg long. And we switch sides. Back over to the left. Both ends of the strap will come into our right hand. Right leg goes long. Left thumb into your left hip crease. Flex your feet. Take your left thumb and we're going to push into our leg. So we're pushing that left thigh away from our chin. We're going to take the low belly toward our chin, creating traction in the hip. Inhale. And as you exhale, take your left heel over in line with your right shoulder. That left thumb is still pushing your left thigh away. We're trying to get that traction in the low back. Lift the chest. Flex through the feet. Stay focused on your breath. And take one more breath here. And then you can stay here, continue to breathe into this, or you can take your leg over to the right. The left hip will pop way up, and the left arm can extend out. Flex through your feet. Oh. And notice one side from the other. So I just organically groaned. I didn't even realize I did it, but this side definitely feels a little different than my other hip. So just gonna notice if you feel one. different on one side than the other. Breathe in. And as you exhale, bring your leg up. Oh, remove the strap, take your leg long. Just kind of notice how that all feels. And let's take the strap back on the left foot. Get your blocker blanket. We could take the blocker blanket right under our right hip. We're going to take both ends of the strap into our right hand. Left leg goes long. Left hand comes onto your left hip bone. So really focus on that. Try to keep that left hip down on your on the mat. Now we're going to flex both feet. Lock that right shoulder down. Breath in. And as you exhale, open your right leg out to the right. Lift the chest. Take your left pinky toe toward the sky. Hold that left hip down. Now pull, just like we did earlier, we're going to pull into the strap and press into the strap. Pull the strap into your heel and press your heel into the strap. So this is getting right into that inner thigh, into your adductors. Big stretch. So the prop or the support underneath your right hip, if you have it there, you don't necessarily have to have it there. It's just kind of nice. If this can be a challenging pose for you, it just helps us support the leg. And then we just want the outer edge of the right foot parallel to the floor. So we're not turning our toes toward the floor. Breath in. And as you exhale, bring your leg up. Bend the knee, remove your strap, take your leg long. If you have a support, you're going to move it to the other side. We'll take the strap around the left heel. Both ends of the strap into your left hand. Right leg is long, right pinky toe is pointing up, so we have the internal rotation of the inner thigh. Right hand onto your right hip bone. Lock the left shoulder down, both feet flexed. Inhale. Exhale, lower the leg out to the left. Hold the right hip down. Pull your strap into your heel. Press your heel into your strap. And then lift your chest. What happened to your right leg? Did the right foot splay out? Take the right pinky toe back up toward the sky. That's normal. That's always going to happen. So we start focusing on one leg and we forget about the other. So this right inner thigh, we're rotating toward the floor. The right leg's super active. We're pulling that right hip down. But we're getting into the inner thigh of the left leg. Inhale. Exhale, lift your leg back up. Let's remove the strap. Take your leg long. Put the strap over to the side. And anything else you were using. For now, and just stay here. Bend your knees. We're going to slide the right heel over to the right and let the right knee drop in towards your left foot. And then we check in from here. If this feels easy, you can take your left foot onto your right thigh to deepen that internal rotation of your hip. Then we check our alignment. Make sure your right knee and your right shoulder are in line with each other. That right hip pops up a lot. If this is hard on your knee, you can put a blanket or a block underneath your right knee. And if it's too much, take the left foot off. So you'll know what to do here. And then reach your right arm up overhead. And take a hold of your right wrist with your left thumb and forefinger. And we're just kind of drawing that long line from the right knee up through the right wrist. So you can just drag your left heel down your thigh as you pull up. Stay here for a few breaths. And every breath. Lengthen through that right leg, right up to the wrist. And then across. Take both feet back onto your mat. Stay here for a breath. And we'll switch sides. We're going to slide the left foot over. This is Molly. Molly had a rough week. She had 4 teeth pulled. Mama had a rough week. I had to pay for 4 teeth being pulled. Take the, maybe take your right foot onto your left thigh. We're going to check our alignment here. Is the left knee in line with your left shoulder? And then kind of check in here. Again, do you need a prop underneath your left knee? And then maybe reach your left arm overhead. Take a hold of your left wrist with your right thumb and forefinger. She also had 2 little lumps to remove, so she's got stitches all over. But she's recovered really well, right? For an old girl. Okay, can you go to your place now? Okay, good girl. Inhale, drag your right heel down your thigh. Maybe pull up on the left wrist. Feel that nice long line from your left knee right up to the wrist. All right, let's uncross. Let's bring both feet back onto the floor. Knees will point up. Take a breath. So that's internal. Now we're going to go external. Rotation. So we'll let the right knee drop over to the right. We're going to slide the right foot behind the left heel. And check in, okay? We always kind of check in, see where we can go from here. You guys kind of know, but you know what? It just depends on what's been going on in your body too. So right here's your external rotation. Maybe take your left heel in front of your right shin and let your left knee drop out to the left. Or maybe take your left foot onto your right thigh and let the left knee drop out to the left. So your shins are stacked on top of each other. And if your shins are stacked on top of each other, you want to flex your feet. All right? And you can keep your hands on your hips, on your belly, or maybe reach your arms up and overhead. Lift the chest. If your arms are coming up and overhead, lift your chest. And then just notice how that all feels. Make adjustments as needed. Lift the chest. Notice what's going on in your hips. And even your knees, right? So for me, with my foot on my right thigh, my left knee, especially with that ski injury I had a couple weeks ago, my left knee is not like that this week. So I'm going to take my foot in front of my right shin. Because then I'm going to get the better opening in my left hip. One more breath. And then bring your knees up. Feet back on the floor. We'll set up for the other side. So left knee will drop over to the left, and we'll take the right foot behind the right heel. And then go from there. Maybe your right heel can go in front of your left shin. Lift your chest. Maybe you can take your right foot on your left thigh. Lift your chest. Flex both feet if you're in double pigeon. And then maybe reach your arms overhead. Keep the chest lifted. Reach overhead. If your arms are overhead, you can always take your hands on your opposite elbows. Make a Y with your arms. Couple more breaths. And let's uncross. Hug both knees in. Actually, do whatever feels good right here. All right, it might feel good to just kind of move the legs around. Maybe even take a happy baby. Open up the hips. Lots of work in our hips, right? We've been working on the shoulders and the hips. All right, let's bring the feet back down. We're going to roll over to one side. And then make our way back onto our hands and knees. We're going to take a couple more cat-cows here. Do whatever feels good. I feel good to kind of move the hips from side to side. The next time you're in cow pose with your tailbone tilted, turn your toes under, and we're going to lift into a downward facing dog. Keep your heels high. Keep your knees soft. Take your chest towards your thighs. Look at your knees. Spread your fingers wide. Take your back ribs towards your front ribs. Now take your hips a little bit higher and then straighten your legs. Keep your heels high for right now. Now maybe press the right heel down and bend the left knee. Engage your triceps. And then switch sides. Press through the left heel, bend the right knee. Then you can pedal your feet a few times. Now look towards your hands and walk your feet to your hands. Come into a forward bend. Notice what's going on with your legs. You might need to bend your knees if this is really hard on your hamstrings, or maybe you keep your legs straight. So just kind of go where it's comfortable for you. Let the crown of your head fall heavy toward the floor. Let your arms dangle or hold on to your opposite elbows. Keep your knees soft if this is really hard on your hamstrings. Take a breath in. And then big exhale out. Release. And again, inhale. And exhale, let everything go. All right, take your hands by your sides or on your hips. We're going to come all the way up to standing. Come to Tadasana. So your feet are hip distance. Palms are down at your sides. Shoulders back and down. Chest stays lifted. Crown of your head rises up. Just take a couple breaths here. All right, so we're going to get either a chair or your two blocks. So we're going to go into half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. So I'll start with the blocks. If you have a couch or a chair, or either way, it's going to be good. Okay, so I'll start with the blocks, and then I'll show the chair as well. So it's just a little bit of a different height for me on these blocks. So we're going to come into Tadasana. Feet are hip distance. Just take your hands on your hips. Draw the shoulders toward each other. Lift your chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Now inhale. And as you exhale, keep your chest lifted. Hinge from your hip bones. We're going to come forward and take our hands either onto our blocks or onto our chair. So whatever you have available. But we're going to keep the chest lifted. So we're going to take the back ribs to the front ribs, right? We're squeezing the shoulder blades together. So we're not rounding down. We're keeping the chest lifted. So just hold it here. Now we're going to take the tailbone toward the back of our mat. And reach the crown of our head toward the front of our mat. All right, let's take one more breath here. Can you take your back ribs towards your front ribs? So you're feeling that opening in the chest. We're even getting a back bend here. Now take your hands onto your hips and come back up. Keep the chest lifted, even here. Come back to Tadasana. And let's take our feet wide on our mat. So we're going to go lengthwise on the mat. And then we're going to turn the right toes out. We'll turn the right toes out. Left toes will come in. And let's take our block behind our right foot. And if you don't have blocks, you can use a chair. All right, arms are going to extend out. Feet are in alignment. So either your front heel's intersecting your back arch or your heel to heel. Lift the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lengthen through your fingertips. Inhale. Now exhale, reach out over your front toes. Take your left hand onto your hip and your right hand on your block or your chair. Now we're going to take we're taking the right rib cage toward the left rib cage. So we're getting that twist, but we're still taking the back ribs toward the front ribs. So we're still getting the back bend here. Left hand is on your hips for right now. Keep the chest lifted. Maybe extend your left arm up for triangle. And then your gaze can just be straight ahead or maybe up at your left thumb. But we're still taking the back ribs toward the front ribs. We're still getting the openness in the chest. One more breath. Press into your block, reach up through your fingertips if your arm is extended. And then we're gonna use the core strength, come up, take your block with you. And we're gonna switch our feet around. Left toes will go forward, right toes turn in. Arms extend out. Breath in here. And as we exhale, reach out over your toes. Take your left hand on your block, right hand on your hip to start. And then we take the back ribs toward the front ribs. And even the left ribs toward the right ribs, right? So lots of action in the rib cage. So we're trying to get the right shoulder stacking over the left. And then the chest still stays open here. Maybe extend your right arm up. Now take your left butt cheek toward the back butt cheek or the back heel. And maybe look up at your thumb. And then come all the way up. Turn your feet so they're in line with each other. Step your feet together. Come back to Tadasana. All right, let's turn back this way with our chair or our blocks. Or a couple books will work if you don't have blocks. If you don't have blocks for this class, they're available everywhere. They're at Target, they're at Ross probably, Marshall's, Walmart, anywhere. So I would suggest getting some, and then a belt too, a strap. And I have some straps too that I bought. I have extra ones I can sell if anybody wants one of these. All right, feet hip distance. We're back into Tadasana. Now we're gonna step back with let's step back with our left leg. So the right foot's gonna stay forward. Hands onto our hips. Square off your hips. So we're just taking the right hip back. So just like we did before, bring your hands back onto your low back. Lift the chest. Back ribs toward the front ribs. Lift your chest. Inhale. Now as you exhale, we're gonna hinge forward, keep the chest lifted. Take your hands back down onto your blocks. Or maybe you have a chair if you don't have blocks. If you have blocks, we want the blocks underneath our shoulders. So we're gonna have to let the back ribs sink toward the front ribs, right? We're squeezing, opening up, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then take your left heel back. So you're kind of taking the skin of your left heel back toward the back of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Open up the chest. We're taking that left inner thigh and the back of the left heel, twisting that back. Inhale, one more time. Now we're going to take our hands back onto our hips without moving our legs. Come all the way up. Step your feet together. And we'll switch sides. Left foot forward, right leg back. Hands on your low back. Square your hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest. Inhale. And then exhale, hinge forward. Keep the chest lifted. So we're hinging from the hips forward, and then we take our hands onto our support. Take your right heel. You're kind of dragging the heel. You're not even really moving it. You're just kind of dragging the skin of the heel toward the back of your mat. Keep the chest lifted. Squeeze the shoulder blades together so the back ribs draw toward the front. And then the tailbone presses back. Press into your props. One more breath. All right, hands on your hips. Carefully come up and step your feet together, coming back to Tadasana. So we're lengthwise on the mat again. Let's step our feet apart. You can move your blocks away. And this time we're going to get our strap or whatever you use for a strap. So we're going to take the strap and we're going to reach it around behind us. Some of you, if your shoulders tend to be a little bit more open and it's comfortable for you to just interlace your hands behind you, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to use our strap here. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, just like we've been doing. And then now we're going to slide our hands down toward our thighs. So we're opening up the chest, back ribs toward the front ribs. Maybe start to look up, going deeper into a back bend here. Now we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, hinge from your hips, just like we've been doing, really rooting down through the soles of our feet. And we're going to reach the arms up overhead and take the crown of our head down toward the floor. So just go where you can. Maybe you need to take your arms a little wider on your strap. Draw the quads up toward, I don't know what she's doing. Molly, come on up. Keep breathing here. Reach the arms up and overhead. Sorry, Molly's whining and nobody's home, so I don't know what she wants. Now let's release the strap. Take your hands underneath your shoulders or maybe on a block. All right, so right now, the crown of our head is dropping toward the floor. Maybe you can take a block and put it underneath your head for support. Stay here. Draw the back ribs toward the front ribs. Hold it here. Draw your kneecaps up. So really engage your legs. And then maybe start to slide your hands, the heels of your hands align with your heels. The crown of your head can drop maybe forward a little bit more. You could put your head on a block here or a pillow. Hold it here. Hug the elbows in. Stay here for a couple more breaths. Now walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Take your left hand underneath your nose. And again, put it on a block if you need to. And we're gonna twist over to the right. So we're gonna stack the right shoulder over the left. And the right hand can come on your low back to start. Maybe you can take your right arm up. Inhale, exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Now, if you want to stay here and work on deepening your twists, or maybe you can take your right hand over to your left thigh for a half bind. Inhale, exhale. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can walk your left hand over to your right ankle. Take a hold of your ankle, draw your heart towards your right thigh. One more breath here, wherever you are. And then we're going to walk our hands back so they're under our shoulders or on your block. And then prepare for the other side. So we'll take the right hand under our nose and we'll take the left hand onto our low back. So we start to twist over to the left, stacking the left shoulder over the right. Check in here. Does this feel okay? Maybe if this is easy, you can extend your left arm up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Your right hand can be on a block to give you a little bit more range of motion. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. If you want to, you can go into that half bind where the left hand will come over to your right thigh. Still stacking the left shoulder over the right. What's going on with your feet? Let's really root down through the soles and the heels of the feet. And then maybe take your right hand over to your left ankle and draw your chest towards your thigh. Pull on your leg. You should pull your chest toward your thigh. And then let's take our hands back under our shoulders. Heel toe your feet in a little closer to each other. Take your hands onto your hips. Come all the way up and step your feet together, coming into Tadasana. And just notice how that all feels. Okay. Let's take an inhale, reach our arms up. Take your elbows down in line with your shoulders. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale your arms down. I want to see the time. Okay, I know we're supposed to end soon. Okay, we'll just make our way. Let's make our way down onto our mat. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Let's come into a downward facing dog. Spread your fingers wide. Press through your heels. Take your back ribs towards your front ribs. And then come onto your hands and knees. And let's make our way onto our back. So just kind of roll over, come onto your back. Okay, so let's, we're gonna do a couple of variations of bridge. So we're gonna start with option one. So option one, and let's all do this together because we're gonna go do something from here. So option one, we're all gonna plant our feet into the mat, walk them a little closer to your hips, to your butts. Then we're gonna lift our hips up and put your block underneath your tailbone, all right? Block underneath your tailbone. So we're all gonna rest on it. So a supported bridge right now. And then The chest opens. Here, we squeeze the shoulder blades, really try to get the shoulders toward each other. All right, so this is option one. Let's just stay here in supported bridge for right now. Okay, lift the chest. Hold it here just for a couple more breaths. Root down through the soles of your feet. Imagine that there's a block between your inner thighs and you're squeezing into that as well. So everything's active, even though it's supported. We're working. All right, so carefully lift your hips up. And we're gonna lower down one vertebra at a time, bringing the tailbone down last. Okay, so that's option one. Option two is to get our strap. We're gonna take the strap underneath our legs, so just at the top of the legs, right? At the bottom of the butt cheeks, top of the legs. And then we're gonna take a hold of the strap, turn the palms up. Walk your heels in again. You're gonna root down through the soles of your feet. We're gonna lift the hips up. Now the palms of your hands are holding onto your strap, but you want your knuckles on the floor. Okay, so you get that support there. Pick up your right shoulder and walk it underneath your chest, and then do that with the left. Pick up your left shoulder, walk it underneath your chest. So again, back ribs toward the front ribs, right? We're doing a lot of that today. We're still squeezing into that imaginary block. Now we're going to take our quadriceps toward our hip flexors, and then our hip flexors toward our chin. Hold it here. Breathe deeply. The more you walk those shoulders underneath your chest, the more open you get. You're almost on your triceps, right? Kind of feels like we're on our triceps. Breathe here. One more breath. Could you lift your hips a little bit higher? And then slowly release. Upper back, middle back, lower back, tailbone. All right, let's stay here. Just take a breath. Let that all process. So we're going to do another variation. And I actually like to use a strap here. So you can put the strap, now it'll be around the front of your ankles. We're going to walk the heels in. If some of you might be able to actually, so we're going to walk, let me demonstrate it with the, if you can hold on to your ankles. It doesn't really work for me. I think my arms are too short. But for some of you, it might be more accessible. So we're going to hold on to our ankles, right? We're going to take a hold of our ankles. I may not demonstrate this that well. And we're going to come up like this, right? With your hands on your ankles. All right, so if those of you who have nice long arms and that works for you, you can do that way. Otherwise, we take our strap around our ankles, and I'm going to loop it around my hands just like I always do. Walk my heels in. Squeeze my shoulder blades together. And I'm going to lift up. Walk my right shoulder under my chest, walk my left shoulder under my chest. But now, see, it's a little bit more accessible for me because I have my strap here, but it's still getting the same benefit. So work with what works for you. Either your hands on your ankles or you've got your strap. Or just go back to supported bridge if you don't want to do any of this. Take a couple more breaths wherever you are. And then lower, one vertebra at a time. Take a breath. You can remove the strap. All right, so one more variation. Now let's all use our blocks again. Lift your hips up. We're going to take the block under our tailbone. And again, some of you who are maybe on the taller side, you may be able to get your hips up on the high end of the block. For me, that it is painful because I think because I'm short, but for maybe some of you, you can do that. I'm going to go here on the middle length. All right, now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pick up the right shoulder, crawl it under, pick up the left shoulder, crawl it under. You can even hold on to the edges of your mat if you want to get there. Then we're going to slide the right leg out and then slide the left leg out. So just opening up the front of the body a little bit more. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. You want your shoulders on the mat. So if they're kind of popping up, scoot back enough. But make sure that the block is on your tailbone and not digging into your low back. I'm going to take a look. So stay where you are. Nice. Oh, good. Couple more breaths. And now slowly slide your feet back underneath your knees. So set yourself up so that you're supported and strong. And then lift up and remove the block, lower back down. And then come all the way down. Take your feet wide on your mat. You just take your arms out to the sides and to let your knees drop over to the right and then over to the left. Just drop from side. Just go at your own pace from side to side. Bring your knees back up. Let's hug them up. Let's take our right ankle over our left knee. Slide your right hand through. Clasp behind your left thigh. Flex both feet and draw your left knee towards your nose. And then maybe take your legs over to the left. Bring your legs up. Let's switch sides. Cross the left over the right, left ankle over the right knee. Slide the left hand through. Draw your right knee towards your nose. And then maybe take your legs over to the right. And then bring your legs up, uncross. Take your arms out to your sides. Let's just take our knees over to the left for a gentle twist. One last twist. Lift the chest. Bring your knees up. Let's go over to the other side, over to the right. Left shoulder down, lift the chest. And then bring your knees up. Hug your knees in, take your forehead to your knees. Give yourself a big hug. And then we'll find Shavasana. Whatever variation of Shavasana you want to go into this morning. And you might want to put socks on or cover up with a blanket. You can roll up your blanket, place it underneath your knees. Maybe even just bring your feet apart and your knees together. Or just take your legs up onto your chair or your couch. That's a nice way to just release the back. You can always put a blanket underneath your head too for support. Just whatever you're going to need to get into this pose and completely relax. Once you're there, even here we want to lift the chest. So we're going to get the shoulder blades on the mat, palms face up. And then scan your body for anything you might still be holding on to. Just notice if there's still any tension anywhere. And if there is, just send your breath there. Relax your jaw, relax your toes, relax your fingers. But just let your entire body melt into the earth beneath you. I'll ring the chimes 3 times when it's time to come out. And I'll give you cues from there. So just let yourself completely let go and relax. You can begin to awaken your body. Start to bring movement into your fingers and your toes. Deepen your breath. Reach your arms overhead, get a big stretch. When you're ready, make your way over to one side. Stay there for a breath. Then come on up to a comfortable seated position. You can sit here with your eyes closed. As you notice the changes in your body since you got on your mat this morning. Just notice, how are you feeling from when you first started your practice a little earlier today? Maybe just even more open, just more balanced, more peaceful. Take your hands to your heart center and take this time to thank yourself for all these great things you're doing for your body and your mind and your spirit. And thank yourself for taking this time for you, for this self-care, for being kind, for being gentle to your body, for just taking this time to do things that are good for you, your mental well-being, right? Our physical well-being. And then be grateful. Be grateful for your healthy body and all that it's capable of doing here on your mat, as well as off your mat. And I am grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for joining me every week. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. You can turn your, unmute yourselves if you'd like.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.